Hey guys, I'm Fancy, and you're watching the Good Wives Network. And that again was the opener to our documentary series that we are working on. I am so proud of that work that our editor Raymond did with that. I thought it was amazing, and I'm just super happy with it. I cannot wait for us to get this documentary going and out to you guys. I think it's going to be the first really documentary anybody's ever going to get on this case. So I'm just beyond excited. Am I frozen over here, guys? Okay, there I go. So good night, good evening, hello. How is everybody's Thursday going? We should have people. Sarah should be joining me any minute. I know she was grabbing some food and getting ready to buckle in for the night. We will be playing we're going to keep continuing on with our coverage of the first responder and jail guard Officer Hughes and her interactions with Gypsy. We had an exclusive interview with her. No one else has ever gotten her on an interview. It is only us, and we were the first and only. So this is our exclusive interview. We did this interview probably back in 2018, 2019 with her for the podcast. And so it's been up on our YouTube this whole time, but I think people just can't find everything on our YouTube. I'm working hey guys, hey. I'm working to get the YouTube more organized. In fact, I did see where she thinks that Taylor Swift wrote a song about her. I saw that. Like, I don't even know what to say about that, to be honest with you. I'll cover that tomorrow in our Gypsy dump. We try to keep the shenanigans, the antics of Gypsy or Gypshit and the Clown Club to our Friday night dump, our Gypsy dump. Because she's just really doing all the mostest with she's just muchiness. And so we're trying to keep the nonsense to one night a week. We do our weekly Friday. We hang out, we pop a bottle of, a cork of wine bottle, and we dish Gypsy all night long, So, and Sarah and I have been doing that where we've enjoyed doing it. And it keeps all that craziness to that one day, whereas throughout the week, we want to report on the realities of either the case as it appeal. I'm taking everybody through this case step by step as we put together our documentary and our books that we have coming out on this. Right now we have 3 planned books. One has already gotten up for pre-order. You can pre-order the ebook on Amazon, or you can pre-order a signed copy by me and Colleen right on our website, thegoodwivesnetwork.com. It's called The Companion to The Good Wives Guide to True Crime. It is the transcripts from our first season of The Good Wives Guide to True Crime. There are 13 episodes that we released and that we put together for the podcast. They are transcribed in the book. You will be getting our reflections about that podcast from both me and Colleen. You will also be getting you'll be getting an exclusive interview inside of our first book. My daughter Sarah has never spoke in public or been interviewed about her experience with this case, with going down and meeting the Petrie family and the Blanchard family for the first time. And so Sarah, Pink Cat Sarah, has so graciously decided that she, has offered to conduct the interview. And so that will be released on our podcast for our Patreon members first, sometime this month. And then you'll also be getting, pictures and things like that. So we're super excited about what we have been able to accomplish and what we're trying to get done with this. But tonight, this is, part of our documentary behind the scenes look, Gypsy Rose and Nick, America's Sweetheart Murderers. Tonight, we are continuing our chat about Officer Hughes. Officer Hughes was the first responder when the welfare check went out, and then she ended up back as a jail guard through Greene County while Gypsy was awaiting trial. So she has quite a bit of experience with Gypsy, and I think her insight into this case and into who Gypsy and Nick and the parents are is very insightful.
Hey guys, I'm glad to see you guys all back again. Remember, tap the screen, share. Let's get this out there. So I have a question for you, Fancy.
Yeah.
That I haven't seen anywhere. How many weeks were Gypsy and Nick in the jail in Wisconsin, and then how long was Gypsy in the jail in Missouri before being sent to Chillicothe?
Well, she was in the jail in Greene County. They were both there for quite some time because they were awaiting trial. Gypsy didn't sign her plea deal officially for almost a year. So she was in Chillicothe she was in Greene County that entire time. And then Nicholas as well. And he stayed longer than she did in Greene County. Thank you. In Greene County because, his trial didn't happen till 2019, 2018. I can't remember when his trial happened, but it was later. So it had been at least 2 years that he spent in there, if not 3. I don't know how long they stayed up in Wisconsin. I don't think it was but a matter of days. I think they were extradited within just a couple days, probably less than a week, I would say. I can check into that, but I don't think it's very long.
The woman that I talked to that was there with her in Wisconsin, she said she was with her for 5 days.
Okay. So yeah, probably not. I said probably not long.
Right.
I don't think she was there very long. I'll have to look at the transfers. We have all of that. I just don't remember the exact timeline.
The only reason I asked was because the guard that we're getting ready to listen to the rest of her interview, I just wondered how long she was a guard for Gypsy in Greene County.
Well, for at least a year, for sure. For at least a year. For at least a year for sure. So
she witnessed a lot.
Yes. And she, she had interactions in some interactions with Nicholas as well. So, because it's a small town, it's a small jail. There's not very many pods. Apparently there's only thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you guys for all the love and support you guys give us over here. YouTube, Facebook, whatever. You guys can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com if you want to support what we do here at Good Wives Net. You can follow our Patreon club at Good Wives Net, and you can enter the super chats. We're working on stickers for you guys. What kind of stickers do you guys want for your special stickers for being a member on either platform? What ones do you guys want?
I know yesterday somebody said, could we get a
brownie
brownies?
Yes, definitely brownie stickers are coming.
And also, guys, we are trying to build up TikTok, Good Wives Net 2 TikTok page. We need to get 1,000 followers so we can go live there and Fancy can have her personal page back. And you can also follow me on TikTok at SadieBeth1. That's SADIEBETH1.
Yeah, Animal House, we still have our makeup line that we're working on. I'm working on getting the actual branding put onto them before we put them back up on the website. But yeah, we have our makeup line that we're working on. This lipstick and my eyeshadow are both from our makeup line. So yeah, but anyway, yes, Gypsy is probably watching. I'm sure she is. She watches everything we do. It's been very evident in the last couple of days, hasn't it, Sarah? It's been very evident that they watch us.
Oh my God. It's, they want to talk about us. We're obsessed. We are obsessed with them, but they literally either come in themselves, come in on fake profiles. They have an army, a literal army of people that come in and attack us and derail us and try to throw accusations against us, such as, what we've been through this week with being accused of bullying someone into unaliving when it turned out to completely be a hoax. So we will be handling that. And then today we got hit with the craziest thing, something that I didn't even think was possible. Did you already discuss that?
No, we did. I thought we weren't going to, but they started saying, you know, that Gypsy's watching, and I was like, I know, you know, Nicole, who's watching? Never heard of her. Gypsy? What? No, we don't know anything about a Gypsy here. Gypsy who? Christy who? No, we don't talk about any of those people here.
People came in and tried to pull some pranks. Some inappropriate
pranks. They tried to put corn on our web broadcast, on our broadcast. That's what they tried to do. They decided to become one of our viewers, several of them. They decided to pretend to be Veda Jade. They tried to be Mac, one of our mods, and then Celeste Johnson. I don't even know how she got picked out of the randomness of the people. I guess it happened to be she was just watching, so she got to be collateral damage. Like, I don't fucking understand these people. But they were hitting my backstage, and they had pictures, they had verification, and then I'd hit it, and it was corn, different types of corn. 3 different times they tried. The third time we shut them down.
Okay, I'm going to give them a point for being creative there, you know? And thank you, Mama Mac. She changed her name there. So here's the thing, guys. Thank you so much, because during that time, you guys came full support to us. And thank you for that, because we do not want them to run you guys off. We don't want them to silence us. We don't want to lose you guys. We love you guys. We love all our followers. We love everyone. We interact with you guys. And thank you for staying around and not falling for their crap. And we appreciate your love, your support, your gifts, everything, likes, shares, all that good stuff. You guys are amazing.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to get into this now. We started last night with Officer Hughes. We got about halfway through. Oh, poor Bella. She's going to get water. We got about halfway through, and so if you missed the first part of this, you can find it on our YouTube channel. You can find the entirety of it by itself with no commentary, nothing, just our interview in its original way. You can find that on there, but you can also find our live from last night that Sarah and I did, where we went through and discussed this interview in detail. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get it up here, and hopefully, guys, everybody can see it and hear it well. We're working on getting better audio and stuff for you guys with all of this. So, we're improving every day as we go through this. So hold on, let me get you guys in here. We're going to flip the camera for you. Oh, interesting. There's like a little hat hanging out because there's no head. It's just hanging out there. Alrighty, guys. So we're 31 minutes already into this. And we're going to try to we'll be stopping every, a little bit here and there to discuss. If the mods could possibly be watching the comments over here on TikTok, because I cannot watch them, Sarah and the mods, if you guys want to watch and write down anything if anybody has questions as we go along. Thank you. All right, here we go.
A few minutes later, all bright and bubbly and cheerful and doing that really little high-pitched voice. And, which, by the way, drove us nuts. Like, my best friend also worked at the jail, and we would talk to each other, and we would go, "Oh my God, that voice! I can't stand that voice. I want to."
And was it a voice that you heard all the time, or only when she was really, really trying to?
Did it get worse at certain times?
If she was trying to play innocent, or most of the time.
Okay. Anyway, so her cute, bubbly voice, she comes up. Yeah.
High-pitched voice. Like, you're so innocent. And she wasn't the first inmate to have done that either. We had another inmate that used to do that all the time, and it drove us equally insane with her too. But she comes up to the desk and she goes, I heard you went to VisionCon. I used to love going to VisionCon. And I just looked at her and I was stayed really flat and I'm like, yeah, I know.
Boy, do I know.
It was probably like the most hilarious moment I ever had with her because she visibly deflated. And she just walked away.
Mhm.
And then she tried to file a grievance against me, claiming that I knew her on the street because we had both attended VisionCon together in the past.
Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting.
If you have something like that in the jail, if you have that sort of conflict of interest, like you know someone
Right.
from before they're in jail, you're not supposed to work their pod.
Right.
And that happens all the time. You know, officers would be like, yo, I knew this guy from high school, and I don't think it'll be a problem if I work the pod. And they write a memo on it and you document it. And I had done that myself with people that I know.
Sure.
And then, so in briefing a couple days later, my sergeant's like, hey, what's with this grievance from Blanchard? Why is she claiming that you knew each other on the street? And I just started laughing. And I'm like, because he found out that we both attended the same convention along with a few thousand other people.
Right. You and 2,000 of your closest friends.
Yeah. So I'm like, I didn't know who she was there. I don't remember ever paying attention to some chick in a wheelchair. You know, I was doing my own thing at this. But it was funny because it was her trying to prevent me. She didn't like me. So it was her trying to prevent me from working her pod.
She couldn't manipulate you and she knew it. She couldn't manipulate you and she knew that.
Oh, yeah.
And that was her chance at trying to make you her BFF, but it didn't work. So now, that didn't work. So now I got to get rid of her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She tried to manipulate me. She couldn't. And so she would prevent me from working that pod. Because had that grievance gone through, that's exactly what would have happened. I would have not been able to work that pod.
Right.
Right.
We only had 2 female pods. So even if you did have a separation from someone, it had to be really good before you were able to work other places.
Right.
Basically, as a female officer, I pretty much rotated between T1 and T2.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it was just really funny to me that that's what she tried to do.
Yeah.
So eventually, we did kind of she had a long-term cellie that stayed pretty consistent.
Okay. So let's recap that because that's huge. So basically, she attempts to manipulate Officer Hughes and get her to be, on her side. And thank you, Alicia. Thank you so much. Got on her side and basically make her a friend, a friendly guard to her for whatever reason. And Officer Hughes is like, nah, I ain't buying that shit, babe. No, thank you. I've seen billions of you come through here. You're just another one. Right. And she did not get her fired, thankfully. She kept her job. Her pitiful attempt at lying, manipulating, and controlling a situation yet again, where she did not give a fuck about what happened in real life consequences to a human. Sarah, got anything to say?
I just, here's the thing. I don't know if people heard this from yesterday, but she said in her entire career that Gypsy Rose Blanchard was the most manipulative inmate she had ever seen. She actually said she's the most manipulative person.
She'd ever seen. She manipulated. Well, she just said it. Well, she literally said it. She tried to manipulate everybody, and she used that squeaky voice when she did it. And I said, "Did that voice turn off?" And she goes, "Sometimes," but because she was trying to manipulate everybody at all times, no, not really. And that's the truth. That's the truth.
She said Who is the Sally that she's?
We're gonna
talking-
hear about that in a minute here. We're gonna hear about that in a minute here. But if you didn't tune in last night, the first thing that happens, okay, so Officer Hughes was in a police training program at the time that the welfare check for Gypsy and De-De went out. Okay, and so they were almost off shift, headed home. When the call went out, her commanding officer said, well, let's just go ahead and we'll go do it. You've done this, you've got a welfare check. So that's great. We can check it off.
She's in training, guys. Keep in mind, she's in training.
She's in training. Okay. And she's in the last bit of her training. Like she's in the last 2 bits of her training. And she arrives on scene. She thinks, oh, okay, this is easy. This is going to be just an easy peasy welfare check. We knock on the door. Everything's good. She's met by David and Kimberly Blanchard, who are, and there's all these people outside and they're like, what in the hell is going on right now? Thank you, Francher, so much. Thank you. So we're like, we don't know what the hell is going on. And they start talking to him. And that's when David Blanchard's like, well, they're both disabled and nobody's heard from them. And there was this horrible Facebook post and blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to go through the window. Now, I don't know why you need to go through the window because I'm pretty damn sure David Blanchard had a freaking key to the house. But he swears he went through the window. I believe he let himself in with that key because nobody saw him do it. They came around the corner. He's already in the fucking house. So guess what? She ends up losing her job because of the fact that her freaking commanding officer gets fired for letting David Blanchard go through the freaking window in a crime fucking scene. So she ends up back as a jail guard and ends up on Gypsy's pot. So she's already lost 1 job because of fucking Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And here comes Blanchard for 1 more fucking time to stick it to her. Because she doesn't matter. Because no one fucking matters to her. No one. It's all about Gypsy. Gypshit. Thank you guys. We reached our goal. I will set another goal. Thank you so very much. Do you have anything else you want to say, Sarah, to that? Or
I had to answer the door. Sorry.
No problem.
My microphone on mute. And didn't catch the end of it. I'm so disgusted. I'm just disgusted that, it's like that she is this ability that nobody gives her enough credit. Nobody gives Gypsy enough credit for how utterly despicable she is, how manipulative she is, how everything she does is so freaking calculated. And that was one of the first things I said to you, is that she will go create a plan and a narrative in her mind, and she will sit back and she will set that plan into motion. And I've never seen anyone who has the patience that she has, that she will sit back and actually wait for years for her plan to come into fruition.
Hold on a minute. Sarah Jane Anderson, would you just please go away? Seriously, go away.
Listen, hey, you are, I'm a Christian, so I wasn't going to say, I was getting ready to say something about a resurrection, but I don't want to disrespect Jesus like that. But yeah, you made a recovery like no other.
Seriously?
No, did I get your messages? What the are you talking about? You've done nothing but freaking harass me, bully me, threaten me, call me names, block me. No, I didn't get your messages. You blocked me.
And we don't want your messages. Just go on with your bad self. Thank you.
Unless you know what? You want to do something with your life? Issue a public apology.
Amen.
To Fancy and myself and the Good Wives Net. We have never bullied you. I have never bullied you. You have bullied me, and I'm done with this.
Yeah, we can invite Gypsy anytime she wants. I don't care. But you know what? Just leave us alone. Just go away. We didn't do anything to you. You fucking put a whole hoax out there, and I think it's you. I don't give a shit. You want to say somebody hacked your account? Nah, that was you.
No, and let me tell you right now, this is like Do you have any idea how serious this is? This is cyber stalking, cyber bullying. This is like
Internationally.
Yes, we're going to have to deal with the FBI on this. So bravo. Congratulations.
You did a good job. Good for you. Good for you. I hope you're ready for when they come knock on your door, because they will. Because I took this very seriously. I had to get up out of bed at 12:30 at night and go on a live with fucking Natasha Cooper because of your stupid ass.
I've been crying.
Curious Cat, you're fine. Nobody's upset with you. Unfucking real.
How did she get in here?
Who fucking knows? Oh my God, because she had to create a new account. It's not the same account, so we don't have that one
And
blocked.
she asks if I got her messages.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Yeah. No, the one that accused us of having her unalived by bullying her, that she unalived herself. It was a hoax. We were being accused of murder, Emily. That's what we were being accused of. Yeah, how cool, right?
Let me tell you what. Bree went on a live for hours and called us schmurderers, and then said that even if she found out it wasn't true, that, we're still schmurderers anyway. How would you like to have that said about you?
All right. Now that you've taken more of our freaking time than we already needed taken today, thank you very freaking much for your bullcrap bullshit. Can we please get back to what we were doing? Thank you very fucking much. Meanwhile, back on the fucking farm, you delusional Delulu people.
What I was saying was that I have never seen anyone.
Yes, we know who's behind it. She's behind it.
I've never seen anyone as diabolical as Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
No.
I've never seen, and this was my word that I used, and I'm always going to use it, and I haven't heard a lot of other people use it, but it is methodical.
Methodical.
She thinks things out, she plans things out, and she sits back and she waits. She didn't care if it took nearly 3 years to con Nick into doing what she wanted.
And then she sat in prison for 8 years planning her come out so that she would come out and she could cause as much havoc as she fucking has. Because I'm gonna tell you what, you know why they're doing everything with the mostest right now? Do you know why they're all over the news right now? Oh, I just got flagged for harassment and bullying again.
Okay, calm down.
I know.
Calm down.
Hey, Cindy. Hey, Cindy.
I swear this has been the most unbelievable day. We've had people come back from the dead. We've had adult entertainment industries involved. This has been insane. Is it because I have like freaking yesterday we had a tornado come through here through the Midwest, and I had a tornado come through my town.
Yes, Heather, I have to put it.
Y'all.
Yes, Heather, I have to actually put in a FOIA request because she actually called me from that prison and threatened my life. Yes. So yes, I have to do an open request for her jail calls and her prison calls. And then my attorney will have to do a request probably too. Yep, I know. Request calls. I got to write it down so I don't fucking forget. All right. So yeah, exactly. She is, and you know what I think is not only is she the most diabolical person I've ever encountered, it's the people that want to do diabolical things for her when she's not even asking you to do it. That's the other thing. Like her massive manipulation, her and Christy can massively manipulate thousands of people to take up their cause and attack other random people for a variety of ways and a variety of reasons. And I've never seen anything like it. God, Charlie Manson didn't have this much fucking power. Do they have golden hoo-has? What the fuck is going on here?
Social media.
Holy shit balls. All right. So yeah, I agree. Most manipulative person, most diabolical person, evil to her fucking core. She's not a fucking victim of jack fucking shit. She's an evil succubus. That's what she is.
Guys, my main word for her, again, is methodical. Go
Calculated.
and see.
Calculated. Oh. All right. So
this guard, I mean, bless her heart.
Yeah, right? Bless her heart. for crying out loud. She could have got her second job taken from her, but she care? No, because that guard just couldn't be manipulated. So you know what she does to people she can't manipulate? You know what she does to those people? She gets rid of them. And she couldn't manipulate her mom, so she got rid of her mom. Unbelievable. All right, here we go, guys. There you go. Let's play some a little bit more here.
And they seemed to get along well, and the other cellie wasn't interested in doing the gay for the state thing, so that helped. At least as far as we could tell, she wasn't interested in it. And then, yeah, it was basically just, and Gypsy would sit there and manipulate people, and we'd hear that little high-pitched voice.
So something come out today that we're kind of, maybe you had heard of this, where she admitted to her cellmate about, and told them basically that new kids that if they ever had a girl, that when she became of age, he would rape her because he was into incest. Have you ever heard that story?
I've never heard that story. Yeah, I saw that the other day. I hadn't seen that. Can't say I'm surprised.
She told that to the cellmate.
Do you think that was her just saying that to him? If she did, I mean, because it is in the report. I have it in the report too. Do you think that was her just saying something like that to be shocking and manipulate this person? Or do you think that that was, I mean, because the person, it was one of the people she had snitched on. So could they have just been angry and made it up? Could she have made it up to make them be more, I don't know, sympathetic to her? I just don't know. I don't even understand. Like,
I would just.
You're muted, Fancy. I didn't know if you knew that.
in a report, I believe it came from Stan. Let me see if I can find it here. I know it's because it was released today in that group that I met you in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a conversation that they had with Markayla. And I know that I have it. I just haven't. I don't know where.
Yeah, I know, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with the connection.
But yeah, it was definitely something that happened in that pod right after, and it was one of the people that she did try to get in trouble at one point.
Evidently, she was something over her phone time or something.
Good.
If that inmate is the one that I'm thinking of, I'm pretty sure it's. She was one of those that was a little bit prone to getting other people in trouble anyway.
Okay.
That specific person.
Like I said, if it's the one that I'm thinking of, and I'm pretty sure I know who that was.
It was like a Markayla or a Michaela, something like that.
Yeah,
that was Lut.
I can almost. I'm thinking her last name was Wise or something close. That's a different one I know.
See if I have a.
I thought it was Lutz.
Lutz. Oh, Lutz.
I think
okay, so that's a different one than who I'm thinking of.
There
no,
was, I know she. Okay, so she did something on Amanda Flores.
Yeah, she snitched on Flores.
And then, let's see. So Stan talked with Flores, and then there was Mariah Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, I remember Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's a supplement report. Greene County Sheriff's Office.
Here it is, Markayla Lutz.
Yeah, Markayla Lutz, and it's got her information. And this was done on 9/2/15.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't that long after the whole.
Just a couple months, no.
And that was right after I had come back to the jail.
So it said, let's see. It says, Lutz said Gypsy told her how she set the thermostat to 40 degrees. She talked about how Gypsy had cleaned up the blood from her mother's bedroom to the bathroom with carpet cleaner and wipes. And Lentz went on to talk about how Nicholas was going to rape Claudina or Gypsy. And she talked about how Nicholas was into incest. Gypsy told her she was raped vaginally and anally by Nicholas after the murder. Letts said Gypsy was not innocent and she was a sick person. Letts said Gypsy had gone into her mother's bedroom after she murdered and cleaned up blood from her mom's bed to the bathroom.
I mean, we always had the saying that, you know, an inmate's lying if their mouth is moving, but
right.
Actually, yeah,
A lot of that is true.
with all the stuff that happened there and that time period. I believe it. Gypsy was a little bit more open towards the beginning of her stay.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't realize just how quickly, I don't think she realized just how quickly people are willing to turn on you in jail.
Right. She also talks about calling the cab, and then it does come down here. So Gypsy told several of the female inmates on Tower 2 about how Letts was strong-arming her for phone time. Letts said she never used Gypsy's phone time and denied the allegations. Gypsy told Letts if she and Nicholas would have had a baby girl together, Nicholas wanted to have sex. Gypsy had cried about Nicholas, but she never cried about her mother's death. Letts said Amanda Flores had told her Gypsy talked about how she planned different ways to kill her mother. Some of the ways she planned to kill her mother was by strangling, rape, poisoning, and stabbing. Letts said Gypsy told her she had paid for everything, the bus ticket, the hotel room, both nights, and the cab fees. So I kind of feel like
Everything else in that we know is fact.
wouldn't have been known at that point, right?
What wouldn't have been known at that point?
I mean, the details that she's giving about the murder would not have been known any other way to her than Gypsy saying something, correct?
Yeah, no, they wouldn't have been known.
Because that was September. They were still not releasing much of anything at that point.
No, she's in jail, so how would she even see it anyway, right? Like, yeah.
Well, and at that time, I think that was before, that was before they had tablets or anything, so they didn't, and we'd give them the newspaper, but I know we always tried to look through the newspaper and make sure that nobody in our pod was mentioned in the newspaper. So during that time period, there were a lot of pages of the newspaper missing, thanks to Gypsy. So yeah, like she
Would
would.
Letts have been one of her girlfriends in prison?
What?
Would Letts have been one of her girlfriends in prison?
Well, in jail.
Well, I mean, in jail, yeah.
Maybe. I think at that point, she really wasn't doing that too much. She was still kind of, it took them a few months to really acclimate.
Okay.
I'm
just wondering how quickly that part of her personality came out.
I do.
Okay. So, I mean, here she is. She's ratting on people, getting in trouble that way, and then on top of that, she is then basically telling them things about her case that she shouldn't be telling anybody.
Yeah. Excuse me. Through all of this, I have found that story about Nick wanting to have a daughter that she would have to give him when she turned 13 so that this daughter they shared could basically become his sex slave. I thought was one of the most vile, disgusting things that I heard.
Yeah.
And all of their weird shit that they did back and forth.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, what kind of a sick individual would think of something like that?
I don't know. These people, God.
And I don't believe he said it.
Well, he did. It's in the text messages, Sarah. He did. But I think
But what led up to
that's what I'm saying. Okay, see, and this is the thing with the text messages. So everybody, these text messages, there's lots and lots and lots of them. But I want you to understand, first of all, it's only 2 weeks from before the schmurder to these messages. So this phone she only had for 2 weeks. Okay. That's all she had. So we don't have the Facebook messages. We don't have the Yahoo messages. We don't have their emails between them. We don't have their Christian dating site. We don't have any of those. And so what they would do is they would start on a platform, the phone, Facebook, whatever. And then they would, in the middle of their conversation, I'm sorry, I'm having some reflux. They would, in the middle of their conversation, thank you so much, Diamond, would go and say, hey, meet me over on Facebook now. And so then they transfer their conversation over to Facebook. So we do not have those. So we don't understand all the things that she was saying to him and he was saying back to her. And I don't know if something was said by her to make him say that, or if that was just in his sick mind. I don't know.
Right. And that's what I guess I was trying to say, is because I have read some very sick things in their text message exchanges.
Extremely.
But there's just something about that one, since he is still grieving the loss of the daughter she lied to him about miscarrying.
Right.
Okay. That leads me to believe that we're missing a big chunk here of what led up to that text message.
I think so too. I wonder if it was part of a role play situation and they are attributing it to that because they don't have the messages for context.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm wondering. I don't know. We don't have the context. We have a very limited amount of communication between these two people for a 3-year planning of a schmurder. That was always highly, highly suspicious to me, that we did not have all of the communication between them. It just, and at the time of trial, there was a problem. They said that they were unable to access the Facebook information. They could not retrieve it. But now, since his appeal, we've seen in his appeal that they have been able to now.
Well, I mean, I always thought that anything could be retrievable by the forensics, that the teams that they have working on these IT forensics. But it's just,
that's a question for Natasha, because she talked with Nick a lot more, and I'm sure she asked him about that because she talked to him about that baby quite a bit. She's the one who he told he still grieves the baby, So I'd like to know what her thought process on that is. I'd love to hear from her about that. Starlight says that Gypsy is the one that is into that kind of, what. So,
You know what? Here's the thing. Gypsy made the allegations against him of different forms of grape.
Mm-hmm.
But we have seen in the text messages that she planned whole encounter.
Right. And no, she was not stuck in her house. She escaped many times. She left many times. She was not, she didn't go off to her boyfriends and get drugged home like she claims. No, she walked the streets all over the place. People saw her everywhere. They were reporting it in real time when the story broke. And then it all got shut down when KB decided to go out there and make this about abuse and tell everybody that Gypsy's the poor fucking victim here. How dare you guys, you'd be so upset with her. Oh my God, she's just been tortured her whole life. It's a case of Munchausen by proxy.
Right. Change the narrative.
Yep. She was already using different names with Dan. She was already sending him those types of pictures. He alleged that she was on with other men constantly. So guys, what we're talking about here, what you think and what are totally two totally different things. You guys have got the version from Christy and from Gypsy, and solely that. They've only done one documentary that even remotely touched on Nick's involvement, Nick's side of this. Nothing. They've basically buried him. They don't. It's like he was just, like Gypsy said in her book, he was just a tool. He's just the hammer. So once she was done with the hammer, it didn't need to have any use to her anymore. She just tossed it away, and she made sure that the media and everyone else did the same thing.
It's, guys, go look in the mirror. And
Oh, I
straighten
know.
it
She
out
still
and
denies
say,
things about Dan to this day, and I'm constantly told I have the wrong Dan Glidewell. I know, Celeste. Us too. I didn't know you were covering this. If you send me a link so I can come and see your content, I'd love to hear more about what you have to say about it. Because,
Somebody
dude, it is
posted
not the
something
wrong
last
Dan Glidewell.
Somebody posted last night, if you recall, somebody posted that Gypsy was trying to find him.
She did. She had Bree try to get a hold of him. That's what she asked Bree to do. So, hey, how's that D with Ken? Is it going well? Is it fire? Because you're already on to the next one. You're already looking for Dan again. He is a 52-year-old man. You want him now? Ew. Ew.
Like I said, everybody, go look in your mirror and look at your face and scream at yourself and say, I've been lied to.
Unbelievable. All right, well, let's keep going. Oh, T. Sheffield, if you don't know who Dan is, honey, you're in the wrong place. Somebody tell her who Dan is. I ain't got time to explain all that.
Dan Gladwell. He's 20 years old.
No. No, the mods can explain it. We're not explaining it.
You want the mods to. Okay.
Yep,
all right.
yep. I
Please,
just want the
mods,
mods to please
put it in the
explain.
chat.
Mods, if you can answer basic questions like that, that would be really great so that we can keep on track and not have to keep backtracking. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit more here. So we got about...
Question. Yes, we know Gypsy is both. She is a compulsive liar, and she knows how to lie.
Yes. All right.
So yes, both.
Okay, here we go.
I remember, because I do remember, let's see, I think Lutz and Flores were both cellies with Gypsy. And then the whole drug thing went on, which wasn't unusual with Flores.
Right. She basically, I mean, it says in here, in Michaela's words, she basically said that I was in cell number 215 with Gypsy during this time. She told me several things about the murder scene of her mom.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a lot of details here, Brande, like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You have to scan that over and send it to me so I can finish reading that.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if that was completely accurate.
Wow.
I honestly wouldn't. Like I said, a lot of the times, if they think they have, because especially 215, that was a segregation cell. That was one we used for inmates that were segregated, where they were on watch, not in general population. So they would have had day in that cell. Even when they were out of that cell, they would not have been allowed to talk to GP. So they spent a lot of time talking to each other. And often when you do that, you say things you don't necessarily want to say.
Yeah.
And I think in this case, that's probably part of what happened. Probably also, she was still kind of new to the jail. She didn't realize how quickly people would turn on you. Otherwise, I think the snitching incident would have never happened.
I don't think she understands how real people work in the world. I mean, she really doesn't.
No, she really didn't. And to begin with, she really did not understand. We always talk about how people have to learn how to jail.
Yeah.
And she did not know how to jail.
Right.
And so, yeah, I would actually say that's probably going to be fairly accurate, because Lutz was one that she'd have turned on her own mother if it got her an advantage.
Right. Understandable. Okay. So I'm looking at your supplemental report. I just wanted to go over a couple things. So you said that you talked.
Yes, Michelle, that's correct. This is Brande in this interview. This is an interview from 4 years ago with the jail guard that we are replaying for you guys and giving commentary on. It's an exclusive interview that we only are the only ones that have. No one else has interviewed her. So we wanted to make sure that the new generation of people coming into this case get to hear this, and TikTok has never heard it before. So yeah, it is Brande in there with the interview. Yes. Come on, what are you doing?
With the Blanchard, stated that they thought that and Dee had no relatives still living. You were talking to them about that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over the
It's
His
okay.
daughter.
The babbling of the baby. Yeah. You said in your supplemental report about talking to David and Kim about not thinking that none of them thought that the Blanchards had any relatives still living. Did they elaborate on that in any way that you remember significantly? Because we've had some different accounts of what they were told, what people were told. So we're just trying to see if you heard any of those things.
As far as I remember, yeah, they mentioned that there weren't. I feel like I can't remember if they were the ones that mentioned they moved up to Springfield after Katrina, or if that was something I'd learned later.
No,
because
it's what you did put here. Yeah, they stated they had moved. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because I learned some things later, and sometimes it gets a little bit muddled. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they were talking, because I talked to Kim a lot. Kim was very concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about how they had moved up, that there were no relatives.
Mm-hmm.
And that they were, that everybody in the neighborhood kind of just felt like they needed to watch out for them, and that, they were just, they had so many issues. And like I said, I distinctly remember Kim just very, very tearfully, hardly able to contain herself, saying, "Oh, Gypsy won't grow up to be our age."
Right. Then you have in your report that David told you about.
Okay, so they're going to get
being
into the
involved
vision
in
con
running
part
the
of it now. We'll talk about Dan. I'm sorry. I guess I'm having some technical difficulties here today. But so I mean, that was interesting, and how she's talking about we've talked about this before, and what Kim Blanchard and David Blanchard say outside, that they say that she's not going to be able to, live a normal life. She won't live to be like the rest of us, all of that, right? Well, that's true. It's truthful. And what's so funny is there comes that stinky little chromosome disorder again that nobody wants to believe exists, or that it's true, because you know what they told the freaking officers? The very first thing they said was, I don't know, she said it was like some chromosomal disorder or something.
And even the word was microcephaly. She said she had microcephaly.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
It came right out of her mouth. That's a pretty big word.
Right, but I'm saying even Kimberly Blanchard's here talking about a chromosome disorder again. It's
right.
It's in the case files.
I find this interesting because you guys are asking her about family relations right now, mm-hmm. in this last clip, mm-hmm. wanting to know, did she have family or anything? But was she not aware of the phone calls where Gypsy calls Rod? Daddy, I'm still your little girl.
Right.
I love you. I mean, was she not aware that Gypsy was in contact with Rod and Christy at that time?
Yeah, geez.
Because they monitor those phone calls.
Yeah. Right. I want to hear that phone call between Christy and Gypsy. I really want to hear that one. That's the one I'm looking for, and that's probably going to be a Wisconsin jail call. But I mean, here she is. We're again.
And she says, "Daddy, don't believe anything you hear.
I'm still your little girl. I didn't kill Mama." Okay, sure you didn't, babe. Sure you didn't. But it just to me, it's so funny how often the chromosome disorder comes up, just like. Hey guys, you know how we think that you guys are saying that picture of her on the beach in the pink little outfit in the wheelchair is photoshopped? You guys think that, right? I know that's the new story that you guys are going with. Did you all happen to tell Dr. Phil that? Because Dr. Phil is where that was first seen. It was provided to him by Christy Blanchard. So she provided all those pictures to Dr. Phil. So did Dr. Phil Photoshop it? Because I counted, at least in the time period that we were watching, we didn't even get through half of the Dr. Phil interview, and that picture was shown 4 times.
4 times, yeah. 4 times.
But she's never been on a beach.
Well, you know what it's going to come down to? Toes in the sand. That's they're going to say. Well, you're nitpicking. She meant she'd never felt sand on her feet.
See, sand is just so heavy.
I mean, let me tell you what she could have done.
You know what? Wait a minute. No. Because you know what? She definitely touched sand between her toes when she was swimming in the tank and doing the things with the dolphins because it's a natural habitat.
And one of the pictures that blew my mind was of her in a pool, in a bathing suit, in a tube, in a floaty tube. I'm sorry, but you don't put a paralyzed person in a swimming pool alone. I mean, what happens if she flips out of the inner tube? She can't control it, right?
Right.
She has no leg movements. So she's going to flip right the hell over. If she can't balance herself with her legs, she will flip over, okay? And then she will sink to the bottom because she can't swim, because she can't move her legs. So what in the hell? And that was the first time on Dr. Phil that we saw last night. That was the first time I had seen her in the pool in that pink inner tube in her bathing suit. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Right. I have not gotten the calls from Chillicothe yet, Outlandish. I absolutely need to, like I said. Why does she always mock everyone's voices? What the hell are you talking about? If we're mocking Gypsy's voice, it's because she fucking puts that voice on and she does it to manipulate you. So if you want to know why we're mocking her voice, that's why, because she's mocking you. Answer your question? Okay. All right. So yeah, and her
also, I wanted to say, you know, if she wanted to know what sand felt like on her feet, even though she's paralyzed, and we know she can feel her damn feet.
God, why do they call every time?
In the cute little video where they bury her in the sand, like every person does, you know, every person that goes to the beach, every kid, every adult does that thing where they lay there and they get buried right up to their neck. And it's cute, right? Cute little photo op. Everybody does it. But, you know, she didn't. So, but she could have, you know, and if she did, well, then there goes the toes in the sand.
Right.
Yeah. How did she swim with the dolphins? Exactly. Well, you're supposed to actually hold on to the fin and just let the dolphin pull you through the water. But still, it would have been a dangerous thing for them to do since she had supposedly no way to balance her body on the back of that dolphin's fin, nor kick her legs if she fell off, even though she was in a life jacket. It was something that you would not do with someone who is supposedly paralyzed from the waist down.
Right. And Disneyland does have a water park too, and she probably was in there for that. Exactly. So, you know, this is, they went snorkeling too. Yes. Yes. I'd like to know, how did she go snorkeling? Anyone?
Right.
Anyone? She jumped off that porch into the sand, into the snow. I am imagining she put her fucking feet in the fucking sand. Don't freaking come in here ignorantly and Gypsy Rose and tell us that you didn't.
My mom is in a wheelchair and she swims. It's an ableist. That's an ableist take, to be honest. That's good, but I'm sure if that's true, your mother probably has to use some special devices, and probably doesn't do it with her by herself. That's something that you would want someone in the water beside you.
We're not saying that nobody can do it. We're just I swear, people are so ridiculous. All right. Well, I'm sorry that your mother is in a wheelchair. Is she paralyzed from the waist down, according to your mother? Because Gypsy Rose is supposed to be paralyzed from the waist down. So a person that's paralyzed from the waist down as a young child probably shouldn't be doing all of that by herself. And Dee Dee was in no position to be able to help her. So unless it was the trainer that was freaking there, that was highly, 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 highly dangerous, according to what her ailments were supposed to be.
Okay, this is the last question.
We're not going to answer that. No, we're not. We're just going to go on. We're moving on. Thank you, guys. We're going to continue.
I do.
No, you're not going to address that she's
No, I'm not addressing this question, I actually had something to add content-wise.
Okay, that's fine, because I
what we
just
were
don't want to
discussing.
answer this anymore.
Okay, no,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
calm down. We just had a situation where a man who was paralyzed was left in his wheelchair by the pool and accidentally rolled into the pool and passed away.
Right.
And that case is
The Micah
case
Miller.
Right.
Micah Miller case.
So it is, that right there, that is suspicious, A, and B, goes to prove that you really probably shouldn't put people with paralysis in water. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's dangerous. But she wasn't paralyzed, so
Wait a minute.
she did.
Okay, you guys are, so you want to sit here and correct me and say she had muscular dystrophy and not, if there are pictures of Gypsy, then someone was there. Okay, Lewis, I'm not answering you right now, but I'm going to tell you what you just asked, what somebody else asked. You said, well, she had muscular dystrophy. She wasn't paralyzed. Have you seen her medical records? Do you understand how many times paralyzed from the waist down is in there? In fact, there's even a report in there at one point in time where somebody made a mistake and wrote a quadriplegic in there. But she was always, since she went to Missouri and before, she was always considered to be paralyzed from the waist down. That was their whole story. So yes, it started off looking for muscular dystrophy. They ruled muscular dystrophy out in 2000 and 2001. And then they continued to look for the existing chromosome disorder that she does in fact have. But yes, in her medical records, she was listed as paralyzed from the waist down. So that's why we're talking about it that way. So next time, before you come in here and try to say you know something that we don't, perhaps do your research. Maybe do some fucking homework. Okay.
Yes, Wendy, there was nothing wrong with her. Come on.
Well, I mean, there was things wrong with her. She did have minor problems based on this chromosome disorder, but no, there was nothing wrong with her otherwise. She had some ear problems, some eye problems, some freaking muscle tone weakness, and, some bullshit in her fucking mouth because of a chromosome disorder that she actually fucking has. The Dee and the doctors were looking for her entire life. She told everyone from the day of her birth that she had a chromosome disorder. And what's really funny about the chromosome disorder that has been identified, which, thank you, Cookie Cat, is the 1q21.1 microdeletion of that chromosome disorder. Guess what? Now that it is something that they can test for, do you know when they identify the microdeletion of a 1q21.1? Generally in infancy. But at the time, they did not have testing to do so. So there you go. Let's go.
And testing was available in 2011, just for you guys to know.
When technology caught up to them, and they were able to identify it. They had been trying for years and years and years, all her life. The muscle biopsy was necessary because it was part of the process of ruling out what it could possibly be. And muscular dystrophy is a chromosome disorder. Not all chromosome disorders are muscular dystrophy, but all muscular dystrophy is a chromosome disorder. So they were looking. They did not know what it was. It's a very rare one. It's not reported very often because most people that have it don't even suffer symptoms. It can be completely asymptomatic all the way to severely symptomatic where the child dies, their life expectancy is within 2 to 3 years. A regular person can live, a less severe case of this can live into their 50s or 60s, and some can live a full life and never know. But there's different levels of this. Yeah. So exactly. So there isn't an excuse for her, period. No, she is just a horrible person. Yes, that's why her eyes are the way they are.
Dee did fake the cancer and the cerebral palsy and the paralysis, but guess who else faked it? Gypsy.
Right.
She was in on it.
And so did the doctors.
From a very young age.
So did 2 of the doctors, in my opinion. So this is, again, this comes down to a question of, do you understand what a generationally grifting family is? Because it's along the lines of what you expect from a mafia type of family. They all are in on it. They all participate in the grift, and they all have different aspects of what grifts they perform for the family, just like a mafia family. That's exactly it. But let's get back to this because we've got to get through this.
Yeah. With the grifting,
yes,
is that we have found in documents that we all know Gypsy's date of birth was changed multiple times to fit the grift. Now we found where Dee Dee's date of birth was changed, possibly to fit the grift. And now even Rod, there was a document found with the wrong date of birth.
Well, there's also a document found with Dylan Blanchard with the wrong date and making him where he's only like 6 months to a year younger than his sister. And he's 3 years younger than her. So these people are changing their birth dates, their names, their everything. Like we change our clothes,
Left
you know?
And right, guys. I mean, adding the E to the end of Blanchard, you know, I mean, it's just, it's, they're all doing it. And I mean, even Emma, you know, Dee Dee's mother, there was an issue with her date of birth being wrong on some documents.
Yes. Okay. So let's go back to this because I really do want to get through this in this time period. And we've only got a little bit longer. So let's try and get this through.
This is very interesting.
I love it. I think it's a very interesting.
And that Gypsy had arranged to meet a man at VisionCon, and the man had convinced her to steal money from her mother's purse and run away with her. Her mother had been able to find out what was going on and prevent anything from happening. Do you remember anything about that, or basically any more details of what they might have told you?
No, that was basically all he told me. If I'd had any more details, it would have been in the report.
Interesting that she tried to convince somebody to steal money. That.
Yeah, but that's kind of, you know, especially, of course, you know, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
But that's very much kind of her thing, is convincing people to do the things that she wants.
Right. Okay, and then one last thing, you talk about Alinda Young and the fact that she at one point in time had been given a key to the house and that there was some issues with certain people. Did you ever find out who the certain people were and what those issues might have been?
No, I never did find out what that was. And I really wish I would have, because honestly, I'd kind of forgotten about that.
Well, I know that there was at one point in time a robbery report filed, and I'm wondering if this has some indication to do with that.
Yeah, and I found out about that later, and I was kind of like, well, maybe that was part of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm trying to remember if there was any connection there. I don't remember at the time having any.
Well, thank you so much, Kate. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us, or anything else you feel like we should know? You've been very helpful, very insightful. I can tell you that.
Very much. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
I mean, the only other thing, I never, because I dealt with Go to John some, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I basically just limited myself to, I didn't work T5 because I was female. So I was limited to just doing breaks up there most of the time.
Yeah.
I will say, though, he was one of the only ones that we consistently had to remind to shower.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the hygiene issues. It's common.
Considering they didn't take a shower from the time of they were arrested is pretty indicative of hygiene issues.
Yeah, well, it's also in his type of personality that he displays, this enlightened being and all this stuff. It's a very common problem with that type of psychopathy. It's something.
Okay, and I want to explain to you guys about my comments about Nick here. I don't know what I say. I don't know what I go on to say about him, if I do or not. But I want you guys all to understand my thought process back at this time was still a thought process of he is completely psychotic. He was the, he was the person that did all of the unaliving, and it was so brutal. And I had all the emails at that time from his fake girlfriend in prison, the girlfriend that basically was just after him to make a name for herself and make herself relevant. These hanger-oners, these people that join this case just to become relevant. It's sad. It terribly is. I never meant to become relevant with this case. I just wanted to tell a story. It didn't quite happen the way that I planned it out. But these other people that set out to just involve themselves in this in just random ways is insane to me. And so I had a very poor opinion of Nicholas to begin with. I've talked about it a lot, how it affects me, that I feel that I was paramount in helping to crucify him in the media, especially pre-trial. So I just want you guys to know that as we're talking, when you see our older content, if you hear me talking about Nick, I want you to understand that at the time, I did not have all the information nor the education that I have today to make a better analysis of him and better understand who he is and how he played a part in this. So I just want you guys to know that.
And we talk about, encouraging you guys to go back and see the old podcasts and broadcasts, and episodes that Fancy did. And I've told her, we kind of need to take the anti-Nick sections, right? And lump them together and do a, this was then,
and this is
and now this is now,
right.
And how did we get here? Because I will tell you, I've listened to them, and she was literally convinced by the Blanchards and everyone around that this boy or young man was just evil and just the devil. So you have to keep that in mind, that she had that opinion at the time, but her opinion has now changed now that she has seen the proof and the evidence.
Well, I mean, and at the time, we were hearing about his McDonald's incident, and I was being told, he's watching grape porn, and he did it, which I don't believe. I don't believe that's what he was doing. And you heard me say it in here. I said, and grape porn at that, because that was all that they wanted to do, was just make him look like he was the worst guy on the planet so that they could make her look like everyone's victim. She is the original victim. That is what she is. She's the original victim. She's the most victimized victim of all fucking victims. And meanwhile, she is the perpetrator.
She is the victimized victimizer. I want to put that on a t-shirt.
Ooh, that's a good
victimizer.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what, honey, as much as you don't identify as one, you sure as shit are one. So, yeah, the professional victim. That's what it is. We should do a shirt with her freaking face on it, and it says professional victim. That's exactly what we should do. Because, I used to give her the benefit of the doubt. I used to try and really try to see this from all sides. And at one point in time, when we did our first wine bottles that we introduced, we had a wine bottle that we were doing for her with a label, and it said, "Bloom where you were planted." Because I thought I was watching a comeback story for her. I thought that this poor girl has been so abused and so manipulated and so hurt by the one person that, she was supposed to love and protect and all of these things. And, I thought, wow, that'd be amazing. She really bloomed from where she was stuck, and instead, no. Sadly, she's made fools of all of us. She really has. All of us that believed her lies, all of us that had a good heart for her, all of us that wanted her to have the best, all of that, she's made fools of everybody. It's pretty sad. And she continues to make mockeries of disabled and physically disabled, mentally disabled people on a daily basis and be offensive in how she speaks about them, their treatments, and what she went through when she never went through any of the things that she claims. It's
I
very,
wanted to make
very upsetting.
an observation on this shower incident with Nick. You said that he had not showered from the murder until when?
From the schmurder until they were caught, neither one of them had taken showers.
Okay. Do you think that he decided to continue that just in case the police needed to investigate his body or look at his body for anything?
No, his
Okay.
mother said it was a problem, and she is nasty too. So
let me say this: people that are on the spectrum or do have some of the conditions that he does have, and neurodivergence and things of that nature, they will regress when put into a stressful situation. I have seen it by watching him just in small glimpses and from being very, very educated in this area, that I can see he has regressed dramatically while being in prison. And it's very tragic to see.
Right.
And I just wondered about that shower thing. I thought, is this something that he's doing? Like, I just want to keep Gypsy's body like the last time we touched. When a celebrity, when a fan touches a celebrity and they're like, I'm never going to
watch this hand again. Yeah. No, I don't think it's that.
He was doing that, or if he was actually going into shock, like to regression.
I don't think either one, to be honest with you. I think that was a problem. I believe his mother and his father had both talked about that. It is a problem with certain people in certain levels of autism. Hygiene becomes a problem for them. So I think it was just something that he did. Now, little gyp shit over here, she just a nasty ass, and she just didn't fucking take a shower for fucking 3, 4, 5 days. Like, gross.
Right, but then when she was in, but here's the thing though.
I guess that's why. I guess it's because she doesn't know how showers work.
Right, she doesn't know how showers work. But
wait a minute. Hey, think about that. She could have known how showers worked if she'd showered at Nicholas's, because I definitely guarantee you there was a shower at Nicholas's that had hot and cold water on it. Melissa Moore. Just saying.
Wendy, you're correct. He's not getting the treatment or the medication that he needs, and he's in a very high stress environment. I actually saw a documentary about the prison that he's in, and it's not a good one.
Lewis, I'm going to mute you yet again, because what you are saying is super rude. So you're basically saying that anybody who commits a crime and goes to prison should have no basic human rights, that it doesn't matter that he's diminishing in prison, that he doesn't deserve to be taken care of at all. And that's just not how the prison system is supposed to work. I'm sorry, that's not. And I think you advocating for that and saying things like that, you're part of the fucking problem. Okay? Because the problem is that we have a gentleman, a man, who was manipulated severely. He is severely autistic. He has mental hallucinations. He has severe problems. And you are sitting here just saying, well, who gives a shit about him because he brutally unalived someone. And you don't even know if he actually brutally unalived someone, because there is so much reasonable doubt. It's not even funny. And you don't know whether he was able to absolutely 100% deliberate. Now, do you? Would you like one of your family members to be railroaded like that? Would you like that to happen? Because I sure as shit wouldn't want one of my family members. I believe in the justice system full-heartedly. And if we don't stand up the justice system for the worst of the worst, then we cannot stand up the justice system for those that are being incorrectly and wrongly accused. If you believe in a justice system where justice is served, then it is justice for everyone or no one.
And he has no real support system, guys, either. Sadly, his mother is no longer with us. His stepfather took his brother and moved away, and he's had a very up and down tumultuous relationship with his biological father. So this is he's really, really, She's a multimillionaire, guys. She's out in California having the time of her life. And
Well, he rots.
Sitting there rotting. And guys, you know, not only did he get life, but he got also an additional 25 years on top of that. And exactly, that I'll approve this comment. You know, he showed remorse and Gypsy has shown none. You know, that is.
Is he in Fulton or Potosi? I think he was in Fulton at one point in time, but I do.
Potosi.
I believe he's been moved to Potosi. He's been in both.
He's in Potosi now, and it's not good there.
Well, Potosi is supposed to be more equipped for the mental health capacity, but I don't think it is.
I don't think so. I mean, what I read, they were saying they were giving the conditions of the prison, the conditions of the yard, the conditions of the cells, the conditions of the food, the conditions of the inmates, and the types of inmates that are in there. And they were saying this is one of the worst prisons he could be in.
Great. Makes it even better. All right, well, let's try to finish this off. So I just get so frustrated with the way that this has been. Yes.
Make sure they can't see me.
They can't see you.
That they had a problem with Manson with as well. So
Yeah. And I know the officers that I had talked to who were working up there, he didn't come up, and I would check his special housing log occasionally. He didn't come up a lot. He was actually pretty good up there, but although we had to keep him up to T5. T5 is where we house the child molesters. But we knew we couldn't put him with the other murderers because they would have eaten him alive.
yeah.
Here we go.
Hey, do you happen to know if any of the pod people that worked the pod where he would be willing to speak with us? Do you have contact with any of them that might want to or be able to talk with us?
I mean, I still have contact with a lot of people that worked there, but I don't know. I might reach out and see if anybody has any memories of dealing with this. He was basically one that, as far as I remember, he kept to himself. He went out to the rec yard basically every day.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to some of the inmates in there. Like I said, tried to pass messages to Gypsy.
Yeah. I'm just interested if he kept the ruse of the DID at that point, or if he had dropped it at that point, or just interested in some, because I mean, he's rather interesting in all of this, even though he's such a small piece of it. His part is extremely interesting because I mean, obviously she has a reason for what she did. I mean, he basically, like I've said this week, she basically designed her own murderer, but for him to get involved in the level and to do the different things that he did it's very interesting, you know.
My impression of this whole affair is I think she got really damn lucky.
Yeah.
I think she kind of had an idea of what she was wanting to do.
Yeah.
Years in advance.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And she was starting to form plans then. And
Hold on. I just saw Natasha pop in. Hey, Natasha, if you're in here, we were talking about this, claim of Nick possibly, what he wanted to do to the daughter. And you have talked to us about that. You've talked about the grief that he has for the baby that they lost, that same daughter. So if you'd like to come up in the box to kind of address that for our audience, we'd love to have you. I just saw her pop through. So at least I thought I did. So maybe not. It says invite her. So I don't know if I can invite her to the box. Invitation sent. There we go. Let's see if she pops up or not. But until then, we'll see. Let's keep going here. I just saw her, and I thought we might be able to get her up here to do that. So maybe not. We'll see. All right, guys, here we go.
She just happened to luck into someone who had his own issues and was dealing with his own stuff and was willing to do it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, when he starts a conversation off that he has a personality named Victor that's a 700-year-old vampire that likes to kill, that's
she
her
has
open
that
opportunity right
personality,
there. I just found somebody.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was so.
I mean, I think that was like the equivalent of seeing the dollar signs. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Really know how to,
Absolutely.
because
Well, this has been a very eye-opening conversation for me. I think my whole thought process has officially changed.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure,
I'll say
Brande.
this, sir.
I told you.
I know, and I've been fighting you on it for weeks now. I mean, I haven't wanted to give in to that. I've wanted to believe the best.
I told you.
I've been predicting that in about 2027 or so, we are going to hear her name in the news again.
Released within a year. Within a year, there's going to be something.
So, okay, so I know you've been following
Brande,
along and you
you
see a lot of
said
this
that about
stuff.
her?
What is your impression of Christy and Rod?
My impression is that they're money grubbing whores. I mean,
Okay. Well, you didn't hold any punches there, Kate.
I don't. No, I mean,
I'm dead.
Okay, my father's in law enforcement. He's very blunt too. I understand. He's very perceptive and very blunt. So I
it's
understand.
just kinda like, why, it's not that hard to have contact with somebody if you really want to.
Well, yeah, but
Money grubbing whores. Not my words.
Wow.
I just asked the question. You know?
And you really, and when that answer popped up, you didn't fall into that trap at all. You just kept on going. I ain't touching that.
I was like, well, wow, tell us how you really feel about him. All righty. I guess that was an answer. That was an answer. I mean, I wasn't expecting that answer. I expected her to say something, but damn, she shocked me with that one. She caught me. I was like, ooh, okay. All right. Tell us how you really feel.
You pulled a Sarah. Oh.
Oh my God, that's so funny. All right, let's flip this around and let's try to actually finish this off. There's just so much good in this that it's hard to freaking go through the whole thing. It's just every second there's something more that she says is just freaking what?
I also think my eyes have been open to the fact of this whole media thing and everything. If you were, I don't know, if my kid and it was a big deal like this is, I don't know that I would have done an entire press tour like they have done and toted it out over and over and over again. My only thought process is that was to create a narrative that was sympathetic. That's the only thing I can think of.
And here's kind of what I have in comparison. We had in the jail a local murderer named Craig Wood. Craig Wood kidnapped and killed I think she was 10 at the time, a girl named Haley Owens.
Mm-hmm. I think I've heard this.
And yeah, and so he was, it was a horrific case. Everybody in the area knew about this case. We still, everybody knows about Haley Owens years later. And his parents, of course, they're from the area. Mm-hmm. They got that reputation of, oh, those are Craig Wood's parents.
Right.
And they never enjoyed that. I watched them come. They would come and they would visit him every week.
Yeah.
And I watched them come for the years that he was in our jail. And I watched how they aged through this process.
Yeah.
And I watched how it just beat them down. Mm-hmm. And I would see them come in for their visit, and I would just feel so absolutely terrible for them because you could see what a toll this was taking on them.
Yes.
And any other time that we had, we didn't have too many.
Okay, of importance. This is the same girl that Snow Gypsy profile posted about that Haley Owens case, about how terrible it was and how she was just so sad about it. She didn't even know that girl.
No, that was sickening how she was like, poor Gypsy's just so torn up. This little girl was her friend, and they were getting ready to have a sleepover. And some people were like, why would she be having a sleepover, when she's an adult with like a 10-year-old? That makes no sense. And come to find out, after I started doing some digging, that she did not know this girl at all and was just using her name and story to try to garner attention and sympathy.
And I believe that Snow Gypsy account, based on the horrible grammar and the way that it is, I honestly believe that is an account that it was a hidden account, according to her. According to Aaliyah, it was a hidden account. According to Nicholas, it was a hidden account. But often it seemed like they were both using that account. But I think that was Gypsy laying the foundation. I really do. Trying to make her mom look bad, whatever she said on there. And she's trying to paint this picture of the fact that her mother was such a good mom to her and she just didn't know. And oh my goodness. I mean, that's where all the information, like they were in contact, where she says she wasn't in contact with her dad or her mother's side of the family. They were all over that fucking page. And here comes Gyp shit. She comes along and she's got to make this post about Haley and how, oh my God, it's so sad. Da 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 da. Oh my God, it's so fetch. Oh, gross. Did you know she's trying to make fetch work?
Yes, from Clueless, fetch. Come on.
It didn't work. It's a joke, honey boo boo. Are you okay? Do you know that's not something that actually was? No.
Alley Cat, yes, Gypsy was posing as Dee in those posts.
That's what I think so too.
Paris Hilton's in her corner.
Well, good for her. Shocker. Big shocker there. Yeah. Mean Girls. You're right. Sorry, Mean Girls, not Clueless.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Clueless. There was one in Clueless too. They tried to do a word in Clueless too.
Oh,
I think they may have actually used that, but it was me, and I'm not surprised because Gypsy and her little army here have been dubbed as this Mean Girls group, and so they're really capitalizing on it.
I think it's hilarious that we call them out for things and then they just prove us right by being stupid. What's her hamburger review, Nicole? I've got to know. She did a hamburger. What?
Oh my God, I saw that.
What?
She's like, it's on one of the start pages where they're basically like taking all these photographs of her eating like a hamburger and French fries, and she's giving this review saying like, it's hot, it's this, it's that. Basically coming off like she's never had a hamburger.
Well, apparently she'd never had Taco Bell in the whole 23 years that her and Dee were together. She never one time had Taco Bell. Oh my God. Melissa Moore made a big old deal about fucking Taco Bell.
Taco Bell ice makers, showers, and yes, she's reviewing In-N-Out. So basically it's like she's having her first hamburger and fries.
She's reviewing In-N-Out. That bitch got to eat In-N-Out. Now I'm fucking, you know what? Now I'm fucking jealous. Did you eat Del Taco too? Because then I'm going to have a real fucking problem. Because those are two things I miss from home so fucking much. We don't have In-N-Out here. I miss In-N-Out. I miss Del Taco.
I don't jealous ever of Gypsy Rose, but I am.
I'm jealous of that.
I was so upset that she got to go to SIR.
Oh, I don't care about that.
I have been a Vanderpump
It's so
Rules
fat.
fanatic since day one for 11 years, and that is on my bucket list to go to SIR. And I was like, are you kidding me?
I don't have Del Taco either. No, it's hell. The closest Del Taco is like 8 hours away, and we even think about doing an 8-hour trip just so we can all go get Del Taco. When we went to Florida as a family, we brought a big ass cooler so we could order Del Taco on our way out of town to have for home. Like, seriously.
No, y'all don't have In-N-Out there in the South, because what you guys do have that I miss from living in South Carolina and North Carolina, and that is Bojangles. Ooh, that
Ooh,
sounds
I like
good.
Bojangles. Somebody said, I hope Taco Bell gave her the runs like everybody else. Yeah. That's two of the only places I like. And now she's reviewing In-N-Out. What a little bitch. Oh, God, I hate this girl. You know, I don't believe in hating people. Like, I am so not a person, because I feel like hate means that you have to still have some sort of feelings for the people. You know what I mean? Like, it still is an emotion, and I'm just not about wanting to have emotions about people that I don't give a flying fuck about anymore. But her, man, there is a special place in hell for you and your stepmommy, sister. There really is. There really is. So here we go. Let's finish this off. I hope if we can fucking get through one sentence without it being just like so freaking poignant.
Yeah, we're coming down to some good stuff.
But when you see their family come in, they're not normally like, yeah, let's get the press, let's get the attention. They're like, this is just really awful, and please don't mention my name.
Right. Yeah, I've
So-
seen it. Like, I didn't see it until I saw it. Like, it's this.
The last few months have been really bad. Really bad.
Huh?
The last few months have just been really bad with the attention seeking. And
Yeah.
And of course, as soon as our focus changed a little bit on our view on how things actually happened, is when people threw fits and want out of the spotlight, but yet we're going to call and do an interview, you know?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Well,
History
our relationship
repeating
with
itself,
it changed
right?
drastically when we got our hands on the interrogation video. I've asked for it for over 2 years, and it was always some weird excuse as to why I couldn't get it. And then when I got it, they accused me of all kinds of stuff to get it, which I'm like, it's a public document. I don't even know what you're accusing me of. And then basically, like, they said Gypsy was going to call and tell the police all kinds of stuff, like that I obtained it this way or that way. I'm like, it's a public document. What part do you not understand? Like,
Right.
and so, I mean, and then it just turned from there. Like, and the fact that I released it pissed them off. Like, I mean, they were all absolutely livid, which really began to show me that it's not about truth and honesty. It's about this narrative that they've been trying to really, really push about her. And I think I don't know if that's self-preservation on their own part, or if that's really because they want Gypsy to not be, viewed this way, but I don't know.
I nobody likes being portrayed as a shitty person.
Right.
And
Right.
when you are in the media because your daughter or stepdaughter went and murdered her own mother, and you were nowhere even near to being involved in her life,
Yeah.
well, guess what? You look like a shitty person.
You do.
So I feel like a lot of what has gone on with them has been, trying to make up for that perception.
Trying to cover up the bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
But because they're kind of associated with this, and because this has taken on, I realized how big this was when I'm a big fan of everything British, and I found this on a British website. I found the news article about this case, and I was like, oh damn, this is big.
Yeah.
And so I realized then, and then I heard about all the Dr. Phil nonsense and everything, which didn't really surprise any of us. Like, all the officers, because we're all friends with each other. We work with each other, and
Right.
Especially the females, we tend to band together. My best friend still works there.
Yeah.
And it was all of our opinion that Gypsy was one of the biggest attention-seeking whores we'd ever seen. And so seeing like the Dr. Phil interview and seeing, like, I definitely got the impression from Christy that she's right in there with the attention-seeking.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, a little light bulb just went off. I'm wondering if, she got all this attention medically, sick kid, sick this, sick that, poor baby, all these things, got all this attention. If she started discovering that the much coming anymore because it was old news. So now we need to be a vixen and get the attention. I'm wondering if that's why it shifted like it did so quickly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, it
She
makes
loves attention.
sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, she loves attention. She was always trying to insert herself into the groups, the biggest groups and the biggest table full of people, and get what attention she could. And that was something we all noticed quite a bit. And I mean, my theory has always been that once she gets out of prison, she is, first of all, she's going to try to milk her, which, already has been happening.
Right. Well, and I'm seeing that in, we're running out of time again. That's fine. But I'm seeing that again in what she's saying. Like I told you, Brande, I said that she had said to me before about being an advocate for these children. And then she was like to Dawn, I'm not doing that because I'm going to work on me and I'm just going to live my life and blah, blah, blah. And now it's back to, now that she's back doing interviews again, now she's back to this whole, I'm going to be a child advocate for children who da-da-da-da-da. And I feel like that's again to look at how great I really am. Instead, and it's another ploy.
Take away from some of the bad that we've been discovering. Some of the things we've uncovered lately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
well, it's
man.
also a ploy to come out and have a reason to be in the press still and to be interesting still. Like I'm seeing this, and it's a setup. I
love the attention. She loves it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, my line of thought has been that once she gets out of prison, she's going to do what she can to milk this to get attention. And then when that no longer works, she's going to find some place to move. She's going to steal an identity or create a new one or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she's going to start the scam over again. And she because here's the thing, and I mean, yeah, what Dee did to her was terrible. I will never deny that. It was awful. And I, especially as a mother myself, I could never imagine putting my child through that.
Right.
That's just so disgusting.
Yeah, Starlight, right? The foreshadowing is insane.
She created
right?
a monster.
She did create a monster.
She's her own murderer. I mean,
right.
Gypsy 100% enjoys this. She enjoys the attention. She enjoys manipulating people.
Yep.
She loves this stuff, which is why she's doing things like announcing that she's engaged and no, she's not engaged, and then she's engaged again. Who the hell would care?
Right. Who would even know? Who would even
Well, and that's like the new thing with the picture with the hair and Christy playing everybody. How dare you share this? This is only for this group. Well, then her best friend's sharing it elsewhere in the group that hates her. It's all a big ruse to keep the attention on Gypsy. It's a freaking haircut. Who gives a damn?
Right. It's all about the attention, and it's just stupid nonsense. But I think once she gets out and she's not able to get the attention she wants, she's just going to work on manipulating people and scamming people all over again. So that's why I say watch out for her 2027 or so.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's going to get out there and someone will pick up on it. Because where is she now? She's in prison. Who else is in prison? People who are really damn good at manipulating other people.
Yep.
Stealing identity.
Learning. She's just
Well,
learning her
they
skill.
are real.
Yes.
Right, and well, they are hardened criminals when they go in. They are when they come out.
And I find it very interesting that it's only been me and other people that have said something about her getting help, not her own family pushing to get her help. They could have had a therapist come in and talk to her. They could have.
That's the first thing I did.
Yeah. No. Instead, they've just allowed her to be whatever she's doing. And now that we are saying something about it, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to look into that. Well, you know why they were going to look into it? Because my friend who is a lawyer suggested it. And then Christy, and this was after the split, after we had stopped talking with them on a regular basis. And Gypsy had thrown all her fits and sent all those letters to Natasha and done all of that. Like literally, and who does that? Like, why are you sending all these letters to a Facebook group? And oh, my dearest and closest friends. Oh, for the love of God, they're not your dearest and closest friends, lady. Like literally.
Like,
Grow
these
up.
are the people who are watching the train wreck happen, okay?
Exactly. Thank you.
But she loves the attention.
All of this was
Loves the attention.
finally where I said, do you know you can get an injunction so that she can have a therapist visit her? Oh, okay. Well, I'll work on that. But nothing since, still. So I
As
feel
a
like,
mother, that's the first thing I would have done.
as a mother, that's the first thing I would have done. Right.
Well, and
I went to trial.
even at Greene County, we offered mental health services. We had 2 psychiatrists on staff. We had mental health interns who would come visit. And it's been a few years. But as far as I remember, I don't think Gypsy ever really had any of that.
No, the one thing that she says she's done is the group therapy thing, where they're doing the group,
Yeah,
probably the round table discussion kind of thing, and she had to write a letter to her mom, and that's been all that she's admitted to doing.
and we had people, like, we would have therapists come in and do one-on-one work, the interns, or occasionally, and for someone as high profile as her, I think our actual psychiatrist would have probably come in and
So
handled
they would have been jumping at the chance to do this case.
And she wasn't asking. That's very telling. So let me ask you one last thing, because we're about to run out of time on the second time. Your opinion of all of this, do you feel like she had knowledge prior to 2015, like that, of what was going on with her mother and what was going on with her?
like that this was all a scam, or
Yes, or that she was more complicit in the whole thing with the doctors and all of that than she tells.
Oh, I 100% believe that. Now, necessarily as a young child, no, not necessarily.
No,
not
obviously.
necessarily then.
Right. But in their later
By the time
teens.
she made it to her late teens, I think she's not stupid. She's not stupid.
No.
And I think any normal person would probably be going, wait, why am I getting this done?
Yeah.
What is this about? And she probably didn't want to say anything to the doctors or other health professionals because her mom had her under her control.
Yeah.
I get that. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
But, I'm sure her mom, I'm sure she heard her mom saying, well, she's got this going on. She's got that going on. She likes to manipulate people. She likes to scam people. She loves it.
And there you have it, guys. That was our interview with Officer Hughes of the Greene County Jail, and the first responder on the call of the welfare call to come out and find Gypsy and De-De. And she was there when they found De-De unalived. So I think that
I want to interview Officer Hughes now.
I would love to. I don't know where she is, but we can try to get a hold of her. But I thought that last part there was very interesting in what she had to say about Gypsy knowing.
She has to be livid with what she's seeing.
I'm sure I don't think she's livid. I know her and I like her, and I think she kind of has this like, she's got a personality. She's seen it all. And so I don't think she's livid, but I think she called it. I mean, for Starlight was like, the foreshadowing in this is crazy. And it's true.
Right. But it's even way worse than what she had predicted because social media has shifted.
Yeah.
So
She snitched on people in prison for drug charges and things like that. That's what she was snitching on. Trying to get favor with the prosecuting attorney. Trying to get favor with the prosecuting attorney. Oh, my husband is calling. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. And we will be back Friday with our Friday Gypsy Dump at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. We are working our Daybell stuff. I promise you by the end of the weekend, we will try to get caught up. We're working on it. Sarah and I are working through it piece by piece, little by little, but it's a lot to get through even on one day of this trial. That trial is insane. So we will be getting all of that caught up for you. Next week, we will be continuing our coverage of Micah Miller. Tomorrow morning, we're going to try to do the Micah Miller coverage that we wanted to do today on our brunch show. So we are trying to, catch up on a bunch of different things. Next week, I have my grandson Yay! So we won't be live as much, but I definitely have some things I want to work on for you guys to put out, so you guys will have some more Micah Miller stuff and other things that we're working on. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives. Please make sure.
Yes, Amber, thank you. Thank you. I was going to
Happy
remind
Mother's Day, everybody.
Fancy
Yes.
of that earlier. This Sunday is Mother's Day, and I want to wish every mother out there a happy, blessed Mother's Day.
Absolutely. So please join our Patreon membership. Please join our Patreon membership club at Good Wives Net. You can find us on all of the social media sites at Good Wives Net. You can catch me here at Spicy Red 92.
And let's get you caught up on the Good Wives Net 2 TikTok page. Let's get that one up and going, guys. And then you can find me on TikTok at SadieBeth1, SADIEBETH1.
Yes. So thanks for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives, serving up true crime one day at a time. One
Guys, and
dish
you know
at a
what?
time.
Thank you so much for the gifts and the love and the support this evening. You all have been fantastic.
Yeah.